Hey everybody, this is TJR. Disney Plus premiered a few days ago. I've had a chance to explore it, and I thought I would talk about my impressions on it. Now, a little bit of backstory here. When the service was first announced, it was pretty much a no-brainer that it was going to be part of the household. My partner is a huge Disney fan, and of course, I definitely wanted to see the original Marvel Universe TV shows and the Star Wars TV shows that were going to be made. We went with the 3-year plan it's no longer available, by the way, where pretty much I think it was like half the price if you purchased 3 years ahead of time, which is what we did. By the way, if you want to know what I thought of The Mandalorian, that's a separate video. For now, I just want to talk about the service. So a couple of things. Both myself and my partner, we're maybe coming from this from a somewhat different perspective than, say, a lot of people. My partner was very interested in a lot of older Disney, a lot of movies and TV shows from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So she sat there with our Apple remote and started going through the search engine, just naming off titles of movies. I asked her, well, of all the film titles that you asked for, what would you say the percentage was? How much did you find? How much did you not find? And she said about 50% of what she asked the search engine through the Apple remote to find, it found, and the rest, of course, wasn't there. She was hoping she'd find episodes of The Wonderful World of Disney TV show, The Wonderful World of Color TV show. There was one episode of that series. But she was thrilled to find old favorites like Spin and Marty and the first season of the original Mickey Mouse Club. I should mention that during the 70s, 50s nostalgia was at an all-time high, and for that reason, the original Mickey Mouse Club was successfully syndicated during the 70s. Now, as for me, sure, yeah, I'm very interested in seeing these Marvel TV shows. I'm very interested in seeing these Star Wars TV shows that are going to be coming out. But one thing that I was very curious about was Disney animation. Now, I noticed, of course, to the best that I could tell, all of the classic animated films were there. None of these were in order when you go looking for them. They're all kind of scattered with the newer stuff and the older stuff. But as far as I could tell, all the classic animated films were there. Now, this didn't surprise me. I expected this. But what I was really curious to know about was their animated shorts. And I'm not talking the newer ones. They were there, by the way. I'm talking about the vintage theatrical shorts that used to play in movie theaters back in the day. I was glad to see that there were some of those there. This included both the one-shot animated shorts like the Silly Symphony series and, of course, the more character-driven ones. But it is only a smattering of the amount of animated shorts that could be made available. If you know me, you know that I'm a big animation fan and a big animation buff, and these theatrical shorts are of a special interest to me personally. In a statement regarding the Disney Plus service from Bob Iger before its release, he said that eventually every single Disney film would be there. And I personally hope that in time, every single vintage Disney animated theatrical short would be there as well. I certainly wasn't expecting it at the launch of the service, but I was glad to see some selected shorts, a lot of really good ones, were there. But I am hoping that more of that catalog will be made available as time goes on. So a couple things that impressed me. First of all, the fact that a lot of the movies, at least those that were released during the more modern Blu-ray age, had bonus features. When you look at Avengers Endgame, pretty much every single bonus feature that was on the Blu-ray release is there. You just have to click over to extras and you can watch those. About a year or so back when Snow White was released to Blu-ray, we watched that and there were a lot of bonus features, and I looked and I saw a lot of those bonus features there. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But I also saw a bonus feature that I'd never seen before. I have to assume maybe it was from a previous release, but it wasn't on our Blu-ray. Getting back to the MCU movies, not every single Marvel film is there, and when it's not, you will find a listing for it, but you will find just a little notice saying that due to contractual obligations, this film will not be available, and they give you a date as to when it will be available. This is, of course, films that have already been licensed to services like, say, Netflix or Amazon Prime. Another thing I noticed also was that neither of the Sony MCU Spider-Man films None of those collaborative studio productions were available on the service. I'm hoping that that will be fixed. I realize that, Sony owns these films too, but I'm hoping they can work out an arrangement. It would be nice if all of the MCU films, including the Sony and Marvel Studios collaborations, were available in one place. There were a few things about the search engine that we found at times puzzling or a little bit frustrating. When I was looking up animated shorts, I would try to search under the title Silly Symphonies. I would find no search results, yet many of the films from that classic animated series were in fact available to watch. However, if you search by a character name, there's no problem. If you say you searched Pluto or Donald, you could find those old theatrical shorts. Similarly, my partner noticed that while she could search for the title of a film or a TV show, or by character, as I did with the animated shorts, she couldn't search by an actor's name, which is something you can do on Netflix, and she kind of thought that that function should be part of the search engine. And I would have to say I agree with her. Just like with Netflix, there's a lot of surface stuff that you see on the homepage, but it's hard to dig deeper into some of the more obscure stuff that might be available. Services like Netflix and like the new Disney Plus really need to have a place where you can go where all you have is just an alphabetical listing that you can scroll through. Since the launch date, I have experienced the Disney Plus through my web browser, on my cell phone, and on the Apple TV. And in spite of the few quibbles I've just mentioned, overall, I've been impressed with the usability of the interface. It does have a few little flaws here and there that I'm sure will get worked out though in time. Overall, I'm very impressed with the amount of content that's available. And overall, I'm pleased with the variety of content, both old and new. Mostly when you look at the front page, you see a lot of it appealing to the generation that sees the 80s as nostalgia. But we were able to find plenty of stuff from all the way to the golden era of the 1920s, 30s, 40s, through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. But we do hope that more material from those time periods will make their way into the service soon. While looking at the homepage, however, I discovered a new original show which intrigued me. It's entitled Encore, and it's one of those reality-based TV shows, which normally I'm not a fan of. However, I rather like the premise of this one. The show's executive producer reunites a graduating high school class and has them re-perform their high school musical. Now, I realize this may not be for everybody, but for me, one of my fondest high school memories was being part of my high school musical. So when I looked at this premise, I can't help but think, oh, that would be so cool if my graduating class had the opportunity to do that. I do want to mention also that I was pleased to see that a lot of Disney's more serious and more overlooked dramas are also being highlighted on the homepage. There's also a fair amount of content from the recent Fox Entertainment acquisition that Disney feels is appropriate for the Disney Plus service, which we were pleased to see as well. Now, as I do this review, I realize that both myself and my partner, we are possibly coming from a different age demographic and a different perspective than you might be coming from. But overall, I think I was pleased with the level of variety that I saw in the service. But overall, I found myself impressed with the variety of content that is available, and I haven't even touched on the National Geographic content. Do I consider Disney Plus to be a good value for the money? Hell yes, it's an excellent value for the money. It is only $7 a month. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. What do you think needs fixing, and what pleasantly surprised you? Let us all know in the comments. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please be sure to click like, click subscribe, and be sure to click the notifications icon so you can know when I release new videos. And let me know if you'd like to see me do more videos like this. Everybody take care. Thanks for watching.